This mini-lecture examines how strategic alliances can be a vehicle for achieving important strategic objectives, such as lowering costs or creating new sources of differentiation. A strategic alliance is a cooperative arrangement in which two or more firms combine their resources and capabilities to create new value. Let's use a simple example to illustrate how alliances work. Imagine that Jay opens a lemonade stand in front of his home, which happens to be in the perfect location at the busy entrance to his neighborhood. Jay has also taken a woodworking class and uses these skills to build the coolest stand in the city. But Jay competes against other lemonade stands in his neighborhood. At the end of the cul-de-sac, Lola opens her lemonade stand to capture some of the market. Her location isn't as good, and her lemonade stand is pretty basic. However, because of Lola's secret family recipe, 3 out of every 4 customers prefer her lemonade to Jay's. So one day, Jay proposes a partnership to Lola. Let's combine my location and stand with your great-tasting lemonade. By working together, they can offer the best lemonade at the best stand at the best location. Jay and Lola combine their resources to offer better value and attract more customers. Over time, as they work together, they find new ways to create value. Jay suggests a new lemonade flavor, and Lola is able to create it. And Lola has some ideas for how to improve the design of the lemonade stand. But how do they split the gains from the partnership? There are 3 basic types of alliance arrangements they can choose from. The first is a contractual alliance. Jay and Lola can write a contract that stipulates that Jay will pay Lola a premium price for each gallon sold in return for exclusive rights to sell Lola's lemonade. The contract outlines what each party is to do and receive from the alliance. The second option is an equity alliance. Jay could agree to give Lola a percentage of ownership and profits in his lemonade stand. In return for providing her lemonade recipe to Jay, Lola gets some equity in Jay's company. This might provide an incentive for Lola to improve her lemonade or develop other flavors to increase Jay's profits, since she receives a portion of those profits. The third option is a joint venture. Jay and Lola could create a new company, call it J-Lo's Lemonade, where they each bring their valuable resources to the venture and then share in owning it. If Jay and Lola feel they can each bring equal resources to the new venture, then the equity split will be 50-50. If they feel that one party brings more valuable resources than the other, then it may result in a different split. This example illustrates one of the 5 ways that alliances create value, by combining unique resources to create an even more powerful offering. This is what Pixar and Disney did to dominate animated films. Pixar contributed computer animation skills that brought to life unique stories in films such as Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Cars, and Up. Disney contributed worldwide film distribution to the partnership and sold products involving Pixar's movie characters at its Disney stores and theme parks. By combining unique resources, Pixar and Disney created synergy that increased profit for both firms. While combining unique resources is one way that alliances create value, there are other ways. Pause me and write down 2 or 3 other ways that you think alliances can create value for collaborating firms. A second way that alliances create value is by pooling similar resources to achieve economies of scale that neither firm could achieve on its own. For example, Intel and Micron wanted to get into manufacturing flash memory, a business that required billions of dollars of investment in plant and equipment. So they decided to create IM Flash, a joint venture designed to produce flash memory products. By splitting the cost of the plant and equipment, the 2 companies were able to produce flash memory at a lower cost per unit. This value didn't necessarily require combining unique resources, just the pooling of total resources to achieve economies of scale. A third way that alliances create value is when partners create new alliance-specific resources. Alliance-specific resources are those that are created specifically to support the transactions between partners. For example, Toyota Boshuku, a Toyota seat supplier, built its factory next door to Toyota's factory, and even built a conveyor belt to take seats directly into Toyota's plant. These investments were dedicated to transactions with Toyota. Not surprisingly, they substantially lowered transportation costs, inventory costs, and the costs associated with having face-to-face meetings. A fourth way that partners can create value is when they share learning and knowledge. For example, when Visa wanted to learn about how to bring financial literacy and credit cards to a younger crowd, it turned to an unlikely partner, Marvel Comics. To that end, Visa and Marvel jointly developed a unique comic book addressing money management issues, starring the Avengers and Spider-Man. Through the partnership, Marvel learned to use its comic books for educational purposes, and Visa learned about a unique way to educate potential customers. A fifth way that alliances create value is by lowering transaction costs through trust-based relationships. By transaction costs, we mean all of the costs associated with making a transaction happen. In most companies, purchasing personnel, sales personnel, and lawyers have primary responsibility to find and negotiate agreements with suppliers of inputs and buyers of outputs. If alliance partners can create relationships with suppliers or buyers based on mutual trust, then they don't have to employ as many purchasing or sales personnel. They also don't have to employ as many lawyers to write costly contracts to protect their interests. One study of Toyota and General Motors found that Toyota's procurement and legal costs were 1/2 those of General Motors because of the high trust relationships with their supplier partners. The issue of protecting one's interest in an alliance is real because alliances are not without risks. Just as there are incentives to cooperate in alliances, there are also incentives for companies to act opportunistically. So, you need to be aware of two ways that a partner can take advantage in an alliance: either holdup or misrepresentation. You can remember these two forms of opportunism as H&M. Holdup occurs when one partner tries to exploit the alliance-specific investments made by a partner. In the case where Toyota Boshuku built its factory next to Toyota's, this created an opportunity for Toyota to hold up those investments by asking for price decreases. Once Toyota Boshuku built its factory next door to Toyota, it was highly committed to Toyota because these investments could not be easily redeployed to service other customers. Toyota could choose to opportunistically renegotiate prices after Boshuku made the investment. To prevent this kind of holdup, firms must have a trustworthy partner, or a very complex and very long-term contract. Misrepresentation occurs when a firm selects a partner that misrepresents the resources it brings to the relationship, or fails to deliver what they originally promised. Returning to our lemonade stand example, if Lola promised to bring her high-quality lemonade to Jay's stand, but then brought a lower-quality lemonade, perhaps to save money on an expensive ingredient, then that would be an example of misrepresentation. This is the hazard that one faces when doing business with others of questionable moral character. The only true way to protect against misrepresentation is to partner with trustworthy individuals. While in some cases partners do act opportunistically in the ways just described, it is worth noting that firms that do so can gain a reputation as an unethical partner. This may close the doors to future alliance opportunities. For example, if Toyota took advantage of suppliers that built their factories next to Toyota's, this could tarnish its reputation. Future suppliers would be careful to avoid making these value-creating investments. The bottom line is that while alliances have the potential to create value, they are also fraught with challenges and risks. Alliances cause independent firms to become interdependent, which means they must work effectively together to succeed. This may explain why some studies of alliances have found that trust between partners is the most important ingredient for alliance success.